Jar Lives Royal Edition.
Hey, I'm Laertes. You could say I'm morally corrupt, but I prefer to think of myself as morally interesting. I'm like the opposite of Hamlet, but our fates end up being the same, and we both seem to catch the disease of corruption. My corrupt story begins when I found out Hamlet killed my father and that my sister drowned. I blamed King Claudius at first, because if he was paying any attention, he could have stopped these deaths. But smart Claudius used me as a tool. He said that it was really Hamlet's fault and diverted my anger towards him. In this way, he corrupted me. He told me I could take as much revenge as I wanted because it was just. That couldn't be more wrong. I ended up dying because of that scoundrel. Good evening. My name is Polonius. I'm deceitful, sly, and corrupt. I control people like my daughter Ophelia and the Queen Gertrude because it helps myself, of course. I don't trust my daughter's opinion at all. She'd believe anyone's tenders. I corrupt her by controlling everything about her life. She could not live without me. I use her and Gertrude as a puppet to spy on Hamlet. My corrupt ways end in them being corrupt and deceitful to Hamlet, because I always come first. I also control my son, but he doesn't know that. I always get this guy Ronaldo to spy on him, because, well, you can't trust people these days. I also tend to be a bit hypocritical. I tell my son to always be truthful to everyone, but since this advice is corrupted, Laertes himself becomes corrupted. As you can guess, all this corruption eventually leads to my death. I die spying on Hamlet and Gertrude, right in an act of corruption.
Hello, our names are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. We're old university friends of Hamlet. Our biggest mistake was getting involved in the affairs of the royal family, because once we did, we were devoured in their corrupt ways. The king and queen wanted us to spy on Hamlet, and corrupt or not corrupt, we cannot deny the royals. To be quite honest, we only care about ourselves and therefore are siding with the more powerful Claudius. We don't care about Hamlet anymore. We guess Hamlet found out about our sponge-like nature, because next thing we knew, we were dead in England.
Now you could say I was looking for revenge in all the wrong places, but I wanted my justice. What I didn't realize is that my sense of justice was corrupted by the ghost of my dead father telling me to revenge his murder. I wanted vengeance, yet could not see through the corruption in Denmark. Now my sense of justice was altered and corrupted by the King Claudius. I wanted to take my revenge out on him, but he convinced me that everything wrong was all Hamlet's fault. These corrupt lies he told me spurred a deeper rage, and all I wanted was to see Hamlet suffer. To me that defined justice.
Hey, it's Claudius. And corruption all started with me killing my brother. I spread it to Hamlet, who then spread it to Polonius, Gertrude, Laertes, and Ophelia by feigning madness. Not to mention Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who were my sponges from the start. All throughout my play, we hear of people with ulcers and pleurisy. Well, that goes to show that corruption begins from the inside out. And when Marcellus comments on the state of Denmark, well, he's really referring to me being at the center of the disease. This is just like when Hamlet talks about the foul air of Denmark. Disease is in the air because it's coming from Denmark's leader. And what makes up the disease? The deceit, lies, and the need for vengeance.
Hey, it's Hamlet. You could say my idea of women as corrupt started when my mother got married to Claudius. My father was dead for like 2 hours, and she just decided to move on so quick when he loved her so much. From then on, I saw her as cold-hearted and corrupt. She was the woman I loved the most, and she chose cold power over love and her own son and husband. This shaped my view of women, so when Ophelia pretended to be interested in me again, I knew her words were just words that her father was feeding her. She, like my mother, chose a powerful male figure to follow. They chose lies and deceit over truth, because these powerful figures were corrupting their morals. This goes to show that the women in my life are untrustworthy and corrupt, and also shows the frailty of their nature. If they do not have a powerful figure to rely upon, they are no one. This is also why they both die in the end. Ophelia was so corrupt that she could no longer stand to live anymore, and Gertrude was fed poison by her powerful male figure Claudius. She was so corrupt by him that she trusted his deceit.
Hello, it's Hamlet again. Polonius here is saying that there must be a method to my madness. It shows that while I criticize Claudius as being corrupt, I'm really the one helping spread corruption by manipulation.
I'm Ophelia, and I'm just someone who got caught up in all the corruption. I was around so many corrupt people that I caught the disease of corruption myself. And like with any bad disease, the result is death. I could not handle everything in Denmark, especially Dad's death, so I killed myself. Incestuous, adulterate. Geez, even my dead brother thinks I'm no good. Well, I did kill him. I begin the corruption in the play by killing old Hammy, and ironically, I end up dying as a result of my schemes and the people I corrupted.
The murder of my father causes me to lose control over everything in my life, including my mind. I become contemplative, but also brash, and an emotional wreck. I end up responsible for 5 out of the 9 deaths. Funny how one little act of injustice and deceit can set the foundation for every other act of corruption.
This has been Draw Lives.